Rehab Management, the interdisciplinary journal of physical rehabilitation. While building a therapy clinic in Pasadena, California in 1996, physical therapists Jim Liston and Kevin Wentz found themselves working with professional athletes from Major League Soccer's Los Angeles Galaxy. Liston and Wentz used the opportunity to experiment with what they already knew about maintaining athletes playing at top performance. What they learned from the pros, they retooled and resized into techniques that could be used by the everyday rehab population. Wentz now treats conditions that span ACL reconstructions to blown rotator cuffs to the functional devastation of arthritis. And though his clients' conditions can have wildly differing variables, Wentz says answers for most therapy cases often boil down simply to movement patterns.
Understanding gait is one of the biggest things that we train therapists and coaches here. We understand gait cycle from inside out, because if I tell the therapist, if you understand it, really understand it, using components of gait, you can treat everything from an ankle to a cervical spine problem. When I take that step, everything's involved. My ankle, my knee, my hip, we can look at every joint and see motion that's happening and muscles, again, that are controlling that motion. So to understand that fundamental movement pattern of gait is square one. And then we move off of that to other basic loading patterns. If I'm going to throw any implement, whether it's a baseball or a shot put, my loading pattern is basically the same from the ground up. We take it from the ankle to the knee to the hip, and depending on what's happening with the upper body, some things will load slightly different from the bottom up at each joint, but primarily the pattern is very similar. So we have to understand that, and then we have to understand that that loading pattern may be in 3 different foot positions. The heavy weightlifting type movements are all feet squared. We're in that position rarely. We're usually in a split, or we're on one leg, because when we're running, we're on one leg or the other at all times.
The 14,000 square foot CATS facility allows Wentz and his staff to put rehab clients through a series of progressive drills that are unscripted and unpredictable. These drills are used to assess the true level of a client's recovery. This method, Wentz says, provides a clear look at functional levels in a way that once popular isokinetic systems could not.
You have to prove that you can, with good quality, perform all these things that we're going to ask you to do in square one. Then you move to square two. And if square two, if some things don't look right, that's where we start the therapy. And I can kind of assess that with, square one, maybe this basic range of motion, functional mobility throughout their entire body, controlling their body weight in a single plane. The reactive stuff is really way up at square 9 and 10, where we go, okay, all your mobility is great, your strength is great, movement patterns are fantastic, cutting, turning, and spinning. And so we've prepared everything to this level. The reactive stuff that we're going to do, the movement patterns aren't any different than anything we've already done. What's different is the input. So let's say it's a knee problem. I'm not going to put them into like a full X-box reactive drill where I'm asking them to do maximum cuts at maximum speed at all these different angles. So square one is to react from a standing still position, just straight ahead. And can you do that without telling me that something hurt, or without physically limping? And then once they pass all those tests, we put motion into it. So they're going this way, and now you're going to react to my finger. You're going to either go forward to backward or forward to a side cut, and eventually we'll get the full cut of where they're going, kind of angling at one direction, coming back that same direction, which is the hardest kind of movement there is, and the one that usually will take out someone's knee if it's going to go.